Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/AmITheDevil for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading the posts, giving you my own opinion, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Hey, super quickly here, GamerSupps is once again doing Christmas in July, starting July 25th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to get a free gift with purchase with every tub you buy, then take advantage of this by using code Oz at checkout. Every purchase made does directly support the channel, and gets us closer to a shaker cup. Let's get back to it. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for trying to test a girl's nerd? Throwaway account. I, twitting male, don't think I did anything wrong, but my friends are all saying I'm an asshole. So I have a group of friends, and we're quite frankly nerds. We met this girl I'll call L 2 years ago. The other guys all like her, think she's great, and she knows all about the things we're into, but I had a feeling she's not really one of us. I put up with it for 2 years, but I can't shake the feeling. So, the last time we were together before quarantine, I decided to test her nerd. She seemed surprised, but could answer all my questions until I got to Star Trek. I was feeling pretty confident until she asked me to clarify. Apparently, I misspoke and accidentally asked a trick question. My friends all jumped on me, accusing me of being an asshole, and she didn't need to pass some tests to hang out with them, and how I needed to get over it. Another friend pointed out that I wasn't the guardian of the group. I got mad, no one was on my side, and left. Quarantine happened shortly after, and I recently found out they've all been chatting with her. I told her I didn't appreciate her trying to steal my friends. She never replied, but one of my friends bitched at me for a while. I got mad no one was listening to me and said it's her or me. He said her. None of my other friends have messaged me since. My brother says I was trying to be the king of the nerds in gatekeeping and should apologize. I don't think I have anything to apologize for, and they should apologize for not hearing me out. So tell me, am I the asshole for just making sure L was actually a nerd like us? Edit to add. I knew I shouldn't have posted on here. You guys don't get it. I am not going to apologize for being suspicious of her intentions and being angry my so-called friends bailed on me for some chick they've only known 2 years. I was not gatekeeping. I was just trying to make sure she wasn't trying to be trendy. Screw this. I won't be back. I've always been in the position where I'm in the opposite boat of this, where if I find out any of my friends, male or female, are even remotely interested in a hobby of mine, they should run, because I'm cracking open that noggin and shoving the entire lore of the hobby right into their skull. OP should have learned to be happy that someone was actually just interested in the same hobbies as them, rather than feeling like he has to gatekeep the entire feeling of being a nerd, just because she happened to have some nerdy interests. And actually, ironically enough, might actually know more than him, considering he accidentally asked a trick question and got called out on it. Whoopsie whoopsie. I feel like I literally also just covered a post where I talked about the fact of just some guys can't comprehend that girls actually can have nerdy interests, and she's not just faking having the same interests as you because she wants to sleep with you. It's that she actually just enjoys having a hobby. But no. The wenches are pretending to be into Star Trek because they want to steal me. That's why I'm suspicious of her intentions. Yeah, dude, that's what it is. Cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole relationships. Am I the asshole for leaving rude comments on my ex's new girlfriend's pics? Jesus. So, I, 21 female, just found out my ex, 24 male, got a new girl, and I'm still kinda salty about it. We broke up like 6 months ago, but to be honest, I'm really not over him. We broke up because he was being abusive. When I saw her pics on Insta, she looked interesting. I'm sorry, but she posted a bikini pic and she had this huge, obnoxious scar down her chest. It just made me really annoyed because it's so fucking obvious she's showing the scar for attention. The thing I don't get is that it's one of the ugliest scars I've ever seen, to be honest, in my life. That's why I don't think it was from surgery, and she have herself that scar. And she never looked disabled enough to have to get surgery. I'm sorry, I don't know how to describe it, but she looks healthy. I know healthy people need surgery too, but IDK, it just pissed me off. I also felt like she was trying to undermine other people's problems by showing her scar, like saying, I'm better than you all, I've had but problems than you all. But just because you've apparently had a surgery or some shit doesn't make you a better person and stronger. Like, I went through some really hard problems in my life that weren't surgery, and I don't get to flaunt around my trauma or some scars. But she does? I don't get it. So it wasn't my intention to leave a mean comment, but I started thinking about all my reasons and also my ex and all the shit he blamed me for when it was his fucking fault. It wasn't like super mean or anything, but I don't know, because my ex texted me and said I was being a bitch for no reason, and then I tries to reply, but that motherfucker blocked me! So then I DM'd his girl's account and said stuff that was kind of exaggerating how I feel, like how she looks basic as fuck and is a waste of air and just wants attention. She hasn't responded. My friends say I'm childish and embarrassing myself, and my boyfriend says just move on already. So, am I the asshole for leaving rude comments on my ex's new girlfriend's pics? Jesus fucking Christ. You are scary. Like, she could have had heart surgery as a child and just has reached the point in her life where, like, she doesn't really care to try to have to hide it anymore from people like you. And you're so bent up and bitter that your first thought is, she's doing this for attention. That's the only explanation. It's not that, the scar is just obvious when she's wearing a bikini. It has to be that she's showing it for attention to make me feel bad. Like, she sounds crazy. Wait, hold the fuck on. My friends say I'm childish and embarrassing myself, and my boyfriend says just move on already. I thought that was ex-boyfriend, not current boyfriend. You're telling me she has a new boyfriend. She's stalking her old boyfriend's page, sees that he has a new girlfriend, is jealous and bitter, claims that he was abusive, followed by a long tangent of how this girl with his scar is obviously just flaunting it because having a scar means you're better than everyone else, and then later just drops it casually that my ex and all the shit he blamed me for when it was his fucking fault. I'm kinda just astonished someone would post this. Not realize immediately upon writing it that they're the one in the wrong here, but with the way that it's written, it actually kind of just makes sense. Cross posted from r/AmITheAsshole. Am I the asshole for saying that a two-person household was not a family? My stepdaughter's mother's house is very different from a normal household. She's very much a bare minimum kind of person. The only truly important things are work, school, and appointments. As long as you're on time for those and doing well, have good hygiene, and are keeping your bills paid, everything else is pretty much optional and usually not worthwhile to do. Their house is 3 bedrooms, but it's small, and unless they happen to have a guest, it's just her and her mother. My stepdaughter's mother has a maid service come in once a month to do a clean because she's too busy with a standard 9-to-5 job. Her standards are basically just pick up after yourself, laundry once a week, do the dishes as they come in, and sweep/vacuum if you think it needs it. In an actual family, these standards would lead to the house being an absolute dump. But because her house is all of 2 people, the house is perfectly fine. Our family has 11 people when my stepdaughter is here. My husband and I, our other 4 kids, my sister and her son, and my parents, so we run our household very differently. We have things like routines and a chore list. Aside from the past year, we have kids in sports. I'm sorry that we don't have a private bedroom for each person in the house, and that we have actual tasks that need to be done in the house every single day, and can't just get done tomorrow. She has never adjusted well in transitions and thinks we're strict for having actual standards. I'm sorry, but things are not the same when it's 2 people versus a family of 10 to 11. It's not just do whatever, like it can be with 2 people. After years of arguments, I finally snapped and told her that I'm sorry she has to spend so much time with an actual family. And now everyone is mad at me for not going along with the idea that a single woman with one part-time child is just as much a family as a large multi-generational family. I'm sorry, but it's just not. And I'm tired for being the bad guy about it. This post is just dripping with malice, jealousy, and resentment. Like, the first paragraph, after hearing the second two, is basically her just being jealous over the fact that all they have to do is just pick up after themselves, do laundry, do cleaning when it's needed, and they have a maid service come up and do the miscellaneous stuff. Meanwhile, she goes on to complain that they have chore lists and have actual routines. And that's why they're not a family, apparently. I didn't realize you could gatekeep whether or not you're a family or not. That's new. But overall, OP just comes across as being extremely jealous of her stepdaughter and the way that she's able to live. Like, it sounds like they live in a functioning household that doesn't need as many regulations or rules attached to it for it to function. And I think OP's jealous about that, trying to find ways to invalidate why that lifestyle is improper or unfulfilling. I smell resentment and jealousy. Cross posted from r/relationship advice. How do I, 29 male, reassurance my ex-girlfriend, 30 female, of my feelings? And yes, they did say reassurance in the title. This is going to be a long post, but I'll try to be as concise as possible. My ex-girlfriend, we will call Amber, and I have been together for 9 months before we broke up. Before that, I was with a girl we'll call Caitlin for 3 years and another year, on and off. Caitlin and I just clicked. When I met her, because we were both regulars at the smoothie spot I go to the same smoothie spot after the gym every day. They know my name now, LOL, or used to. Amber bought me a smoothie maker when we were together, so I just use that now and add my protein and creatine in it. When I tell you Caitlin and I just had an insane amount of chemistry. 1, she was absolutely fine. I mean, people would tell me your girl is bad all the time. What I liked most of all, though, was the intellectual and philosophical conversations we had. When we would see each other at the smoothie place, we would talk for like 2 hours, laughing crying emoji, before she said take my number so you stop holding me up. We started dating, and I was madly in love with her. I loved talking to her, sex, and being around her, but she wasn't the most honest person. She would lie about where she was and who she was with. I eventually found out she was cheating on me, and to my credit, I tried to give it another shot. She cheated again. Even after that, we had this on and off again relationship, and I felt like every time I tried to move on, she would come back. I know she loved me, but she will even tell you this. She self-sabotages, because she's scared of the love she feels for me. So when I'm about to move on, it's like, oh no, it's really over, and she comes back. But then self-sabotages again. So last year, I started dating this girl. She lives in the same apartment I'm in, and I met her at the pool. I can't swim, and she joked it's because my muscles. It's hard to float, and was teaching me how to swim. I asked her out, and we were together for 9 months. She did so much for me. Caitlin never bought me anything or paid for anything. Even on my birthday, I paid for both of our stuff. Amber is not like that at all. She spoils me rotten. She's just probably the sweetest girl I've ever met. But Caitlin and I had history. So Caitlin apologized to me, and she didn't even know about Amber and how she's ready to be a wife. Not a girlfriend, but a wife. She unlearned the self-sabotaging behavior. It's not that I didn't love Amber, but Caitlin and I had the history. The philosophical talks, etc. So I needed to see how it would go because I always felt like I would marry Caitlin. Well, Caitlin cheated again, and I realized I'm done with her. At first, I still had pictures of us on our phone even when I was with Amber because I just thought Caitlin and I would end up together. I deleted all of them and blocked her on everything. I gave it my all, but I just don't have it in me anymore. I can sleep at night and can fully give to Amber. Amber and I still live in the same complex, but I think she's moving soon. She was supposed to move in with me at the end of her lease, and that would have been now, but 3 months ago I broke up with her for Caitlin. But when I see Amber, she's cold. She will say hi, but is very short with me, and today she was mean. When I knocked on her door and I told her that she's not going to be my consolation prize, until Amber comes back and to get the fuck out of my face with that bullshit. She never raised her voice at me, and she's normally very sweet. She did text me an apology message for cursing at me and raising her voice, and I appreciate that. I do want to talk to her and just express that she's not a consolation prize, and I'm all in. I think he meant Caitlin instead of Amber when he said consolation prize until Amber comes back. He ends it on any advice is appreciated, but like, dude, I don't know what you're expecting. You treated Amber like she was a backup plan the moment Caitlin walked back in your life and sold you the bullshit of how she's changed and past her self-sabotaging behavior. And you believed her. You fell hook, line, and sink for it. You left Amber for Caitlin, knowing that Caitlin and you have a history of her cheating on you. She cheats on you again, and you just expect Amber to take you back now? Like, you quite literally defined her as being second fiddle to Caitlin. I don't really know what to tell you, man. Cross posted from r/Am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole? Public. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she has no right to police who I date, considering her mom had an affair, which broke my heart, and she had no issues with it? Put your bets in now as to who he's dating. You're not going to get it right, unless I accidentally spoiled it in the chapter title, then you might get it right. But still, I divorced my ex-wife over a decade ago after her affair. She's now married to her affair partner, and they even have a child together. I'll be honest, therapy has slowly helped me come to terms with it, but to say it traumatized me would be an understatement. My ex-wife and I share a daughter, 25 female, who's getting married in a month. She's close with both of us, and I've always made it a point to never badmouth her mom despite everything that happened. The affair didn't affect her relationship with her mom at all. A few months ago, I was having lunch at a cafe when someone recognized me. She turned out to be my daughter's maid of honor. I don't really know my daughter's friends that well, so I didn't recognize her. We ended up having lunch together, exchanged numbers, and I initially thought my daughter might have put her up to something. But the next day, she asked me out for lunch again. Then again. This went on for a couple of weeks or so, and one day, she asked me to dinner. I accepted. After dinner, she invited me back to her apartment, and, well, one thing led to another, and we slept together. I honestly thought it was just going to be a one-time hookup, but she kept wanting to see me more, like she was interested in an actual relationship. For context, I haven't dated anyone since my divorce, so I was confused about what she even saw in me. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel nice to have those feelings again after so long. Still, I didn't feel right hiding this from my daughter, even though my girlfriend, yes, she's my girlfriend now, insisted it wasn't necessary, and it would just cause drama. Eventually, she agreed we should tell her. When I told my daughter, she completely freaked out. She verbally tore into both of us, called me selfish, disgusting, said I was ruining her wedding, and that she couldn't believe I'd do this to her. She's barely speaking to me now. My girlfriend says my daughter will have to get over it, and that she's being hypocritical, considering what her mom did to me. She asked me if my daughter's relationship with her mom was affected by the affair, and I said no. And she said I have to tell my daughter that. I did later call my daughter and told her where was the outrage when her mom, someone I love dearly, broke my heart. It didn't affect her bond with her mom one bit. My daughter seemed sad on the call and started crying a bit, and I feel a bit guilty, but I said my piece. Am I the asshole for dating my daughter's maid of honor? So, real quick, definitely not a fan of people using the excuse of, oh, my behavior's okay because I was cheated on by my spouse. That doesn't line up. Now, real quick, I just want to insert this here just so I make it crystal clear. As an adult, you are allowed to date any adult that you wish. That is within your reason. However, it is good to understand that just because you can doesn't mean there won't be any potential consequences that might follow. We are looking at those consequences and not whether or not they can. Now, to me, from what he said here, it sounds like she's manipulating and gaslighting him and kind of getting him riled up a bit to push things forward. Pretty shitty maid of honor, honestly. I think the maid of honor is using the guise of hypocrisy to push forward whatever the hell she's currently doing here, because there is a massive difference between husband's wife cheating on him and you not only dating someone your daughter's age, but also dating one of your daughter's friends who's also close enough to be her maid of honor, or at least was. Like, the wedding is gonna be messy as hell now because your father, who's walking you down the aisle, potentially, is now dating your maid of honor. What if they break up in the meantime? What's that gonna look like? Is that gonna cause a bunch of, fucking wedding drama and stuff like that? Not to mention, the maid of honor is coming across as a major earworm. She is definitely pulling some strings here, and it is uncomfy with, how she's kind of just manipulating the father to believe that he can do no wrong just because the wife cheated on him. Yeah, what the wife did was really shitty, don't get me wrong. But OP here is also mixing his life, the life that he has with his daughter as her father, with her life, the one that she has with her friends. If there's a breakup, what happens? Not to mention, if the relationship continues to sour, is the daughter losing a friend in the process? Okay, wait, my bad. That was a dumb question to ask because the maid of honor literally sought out the father. She recognized who he was and actively sought that relationship out, and is now currently pulling the strings and manipulating the father so that way he's pulling away from the daughter. Just yikes, man. But in the end, I'm going to turn the question on to you guys and ask what you guys think. Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. I, 36 male, broke up with my girlfriend, 30 female, because she gained 20 pounds in the 4 months we've dated, and I lost most of my physical attraction to her. I decided I couldn't be happy in a relationship with someone that size. I didn't tell her this. Do I tell her? A few days ago, she said, "I love you." I froze up and couldn't respond. A few days later, she asked for my response. I blathered nothing for 10 minutes before leaving. We finished the conversation the next day. I told her, "You deserve someone who will love you back." I didn't tell her that it was because I decided that I couldn't be happy in a relationship with someone who weighed so much more than me. For context, when we first started dating, she already was at a size that was off-putting to me. However, it wasn't enough to be a deal breaker. Over the 4 months we'd been together, she put on weight. I probably gained 5 to 10 pounds. I went up half a pant size, maybe a whole pant size. I can still fit into all of my clothing, except for 2 pairs of my tightest pants. She gained 20 pounds and it shows. It doesn't look good. She already weighed more than me when we got together. I work out and I'm strong, but I cannot pick her up or throw her around in bed. I also cannot bring myself to go down on a girl if I'm not really attracted to her. I've never gone down on a girl who weighed more than me. And she had complained a little about this in the last month. She made a joking comment here or there about how I'd never gone down on her. Well, it was because she just didn't turn me on enough. Basically, with my other partners, I would usually go twice, but I never did with my ex-girlfriend. I feel like if she lost enough weight, I would become more attracted to her, and I wouldn't be put off at the thought of going down on her. I talked to some of my friends, and they said, well, if you marry her and you have kids, you know she's going to gain weight, right? Her and I both want kids. They also said, you know, everyone gains weight as they get older, right? I know they are correct. However, I'm a fitness guy. I know a lot about food, diet, exercise, weightlifting, changing one's body, that sort of thing. One of the main reasons I gained weight once her and I started going out was because I had to make time in my week for her, and naturally, that ate into my gym sessions. There were a few other things about her that I wasn't a fan of, but after I thought about it, none of them were stopping me from being turned on by her, and none of them would be deal breakers for marriage. It really does just come down to her being too overweight for me, to the point that I lost my attraction to her. Basically, after she gained some weight, I stopped wanting to have sex with her and would basically only have sex with her when she initiated. She would initiate a lot. We had sex almost every time we saw each other, and I liked that she did that. I never turned her down either, and I made sure that she came almost basically every time. Anyways, it's been a day since we broke up. I was holding back tears the whole car ride home. When I got home, I grabbed a towel and I just bawled and sobbed into it for 20 minutes. I've never done that before with any other breakup. And so, because I cried so much, I realized I actually do love her. I just couldn't commit myself to a lifetime of being with someone I'm not physically attracted to, which is why I told her that I could not tell her that I loved her back. I cannot willingly and knowingly put my future self into an r/dead bedroom situation. I didn't tell her this because at the time, I thought it would be pointless and would only be destructive. But now that I've thought about it for a day, I've decided that I could spend the rest of my life with her, if she lost some weight. It would be good if she lost maybe 40 pounds. For reference, she's 5'2" and weighs over 200 pounds. I'm 5'7" and I weigh about 170. However, I have a lot of muscle due to lifting weights, so the fat looks good on me. I have a V taper with noticeably large arms, shoulders, chest, legs, and back. I asked 2 friends of mine this evening, and they basically said, 1. Friend 1, if you really mean it, potentially possibly consider doing it, but remember that she'll have that hanging over her head for the rest of her life if you're together with her. 2. Friend 2, either way, don't tell her. Even if she lost the weight, the other things would eventually nag you. Those other things are 1. She dresses like a lesbian and doesn't shave. I'm a heterosexual male, and I would prefer if she presented herself a little more femininely. However, this was never a deal breaker. 2. She has different political opinions than me. Again, not a deal breaker, and we talked about this. It's not a deal breaker for her either. 3. She can be overly dominant, bossy, stubborn, and aggressive at times. I'm not the type of dude who needs to be right all the time. I'm definitely not right all the time. And I don't mind her cutting me off occasionally or trying to one-up me, which she can easily do because she's smarter than me. And the reason I'm considering potentially trying to get back with her, she's an amazing person that I clicked with on a lot of levels and had a great time with her while we were together. I realized if I could just have the physical attraction, that would be every facet of love, because I think love is both a feeling and also an act. I wasn't feeling the physical passion that I think is an aspect of love, but I definitely love her personality and how she treated me. I love spending time with her and taking her out on dates. I feel like I was learning from her, and she was learning from me. Even though she's smarter than me, I'm an engineering giga nerd, and she loved it when I could prove her wrong about some random unimportant scientific topic. It made me happy that once in a while, I could one-up her at some sort of intelligence game, mainly because it turned her on when that would happen. Not that she didn't get turned on regularly otherwise. I'm just trying to say, body aside, she's the kind of person I could settle down with. I know I only dated her for 4 months, and I realize that wanting to change things about a partner after just 4 months might be crazy. Maybe it is crazy, and maybe I should never talk to her again, let alone tell her this. I just feel like maybe there's a chance that I could tell her, and she would agree to work on her weight and we would be together. And maybe if that happened, there'd be a chance we'd get married and have a family we want, etc. I feel like that's worth fighting for, but if I contact her and she agrees to talk to me, and I tell her this, it could also go wrong in many ways, so I just don't know what to do and could use some advice. Look, dude, I don't know what to tell you, alright? Like, if that's an aspect of the relationship that makes you so uncomfortable to the point where you feel it's best if you leave it because you're physically repulsed by her, then perhaps you should just find someone else. My guess would be is because the original post was deleted, you already had your fair share of comments rightfully ripping into you for this. And like, in the end, honestly, if you really like her personality to the point where you could see yourself living a life with her, maybe you should do some growing and compromises, and not just expect that all to be on her shoulders. Just a thought. But in the end, you did walk away from that relationship for extremely superficial reasons, and couldn't even tell her why. And now you're on Reddit trying to figure out if you actually want her back or not. The thing is, if you want her back, you're the one who has to make compromises, not her. You're the one who walked away. Personally, I think after the Reddit post, you should do some introspection and maybe find someone else, after you do some growing as a person. But that's just my opinion. Don't forget, this is brought to you by GamerSupps. Use code ODDS at checkout. It's basically a caffeine powder that you put in your water, and I actually really like it. I use this on a daily basis. Don't forget that every purchase you make using code ODDS directly supports the channel. And if you want a personal recommendation from me, I would either recommend the Soda Pressing Pear or Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are currently my favorite flavors. And as a note, once we sell a certain amount of stuff, I get my own flavor and my own cup, and you all know I'm gonna choose some degenerate shit that's gonna make their PR team squirm. My goal is to make them regret partnering with me. So please, use code ODDS at checkout to make my dream come true of making a PR team squirm.